So, I just watched Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and safe to say, I have some opinions on the movie, not all of which are very positive, but I do like parts of it, I swear, okay? There's this scene with a Freddy plushie really early on. Amazing.
At one point, this movie had a lower review score than Morbius.
Massive spoiler warning here, folks, because I will be going over the major plot points and some character beats, giving my opinions on them. So if you're trying to save yourself for the film to form your own opinion, which I highly recommend, you might want to skip out on this one. For those of you sticking around, let's get into this. Right up front, I don't think I like this movie. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. I had a good time watching it. It was a very enjoyable film. As a fan of the game, there's tons of fan service, a whole hullabaloo of stuff. But as a movie, I'm not really sure how I feel about it, to be completely honest with you. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the positives of the movie, because there are a lot. There's a lot to enjoy about the movie, especially if you're a fan of the game series. Much like the first movie, the set design and animatronic design is on point. All of the designs for the toys and the withered animatronics, the marionette, they look straight from the video game. Chef's kiss. You honestly can't get much better than this, okay? There's no room for complaining here. It's perfect. And the new Freddy's location we're introduced to, which is revealed to actually be the original restaurant location, is very well done. It's a little bit more exaggerated than the restaurant from the first movie, but that's actually a pretty good mirror of the video games, because FNAF 2's pizzeria was a far larger establishment than the one in the first game, and because of that, it lost a little bit of that grounded touch, though it's still there, and the same goes for this place, It has the same rustic, worn-down look, and that waterfall attraction through the middle of the restaurant is home to one of my favorite scary set pieces from this movie. It was very well done. I very much enjoy the look of this new pizzeria. Speaking of scares, this film seemed to take great strides in actually attempting more proper horror than the first movie. For as good as it was, the initial film, it wasn't very scary. Granted, it's a PG-13 film appealing to, teenagers, so you're not going to get anything major. But there are some pretty twisted scenes in this movie, and a decent bit of blood. There's a scene later in the film where Toy Chica, crushes a man's skull with her hands. That was pretty gnarly. And there seems to be a much greater emphasis on tension. Whether or not that's completely good is up for debate. Overall, I think it is, but there definitely are some times where it leads into really cheap jump scares. But overall, definitely a spookier affair. The music, just like the first film, is excellent. I'm honestly shocked at how much I love the tracks for these movies. The opening credits for both films is fantastic. I love it. It perfectly encapsulates the vibe of the series, and I love it. On that note, the opening to the movie is one of my favorite scenes. It depicts Charlotte and Vanessa early on in Afton's killing spree. Actually, it depicts her murder, which plays out very differently from the games, but it's very well done. So yeah, in short, set design and costume design is fantastic. Music is phenomenal. The scares are definitely better in this movie. And lastly, I think there's some really good character writing. I'll get more into specifics as I discuss what I didn't like about the movie, but I did like seeing some stuff. Like Vanessa has a dream sequence in the movie that's really well done character-wise. Now let's talk about what I didn't like. I just want to preface this by saying, I know when you're dealing with ghosts in fiction, it can be very wishy-washy on how they work, but FNAF has kept it relatively simple. We know that when someone dies, their soul can become anchored to a, specific object. Typically in the series as of now, we've seen it happen with the 5 kids most prominently. Their spirits are bonded and trapped within the exoskeletons of the animatronics, right? We can all agree that's how it worked? And I'm not talking about the game lore here, I'm talking about the movies. They show us this, yes? Well, now Charlotte can just possess people? Relatively early into the film, a group of amateur ghost hunters are invited to this new Freddy's location to investigate it, when suddenly one of the members hears the music box from the games. She follows the sound to its source and finds the box. She turns it off, which, as we know, unleashes the marionette. But here's the thing. She doesn't just kill her, she possesses her. Like, her eyes start glowing. For some reason, she gets the black makeup, like, running down from her eyes, you know, that the marionette has. She gets that too when she's possessed. And there's no real point to the possession either in the film. You'd think it'd have a bigger role to play, but all she uses this newfound possessed body for is to, like, choke Vanessa a little bit when she visits later down the line, and to taunt her and threaten Abby's life to get the codes for one of my other least favorite plot devices in this movie. So, as it turns out, the animatronics have a perimeter sensor sort of function. Basically what happens is, whenever they leave the restaurant, they start to shut down. That makes enough sense. But here's the thing. If she can possess people, why does she need the feature turned off? It seems like her soul's not anchored to the marionette. And if she is still anchored, she shouldn't be able to just swap bodies like this. It's very bizarre. The movie never really explains how she's able to do this or why. They just do. It's not even the only time. In the last half of the movie, she does it 2 more times. Once with Abby more prominently, which just brings up more questions to me, because Abby lives, obviously, but when she's possessed, her body morphs, kind of, to resemble the puppet. Like, she gets the long marionette fingers and legs and such. She can float, all that stuff. None of it's ever even addressed. It's just kind of there. And I get it. It's you know, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not a serious thing, but it's inconsistent with itself, which I guess is also pretty on brand for the series. But in this case, it just really bothers me, because if she could do it, does that mean the other kids from the first movie could have done it? Why didn't they try? What was stopping them? Charlotte's motivations are also a little iffy in this movie. I mean, they make enough sense. So, without getting too into the weeds of the details, during the opening of the film, we see Charlotte trying to get the adults' attention to save a kid who she witnessed being lured into the back rooms by Afton. However, they all brush her off, like, stupid kid, get out of my face. So she runs in herself, gets killed, all that. So she blames the parents for what happened to her. There's also a weird part of the movie where Vanessa's describing what happened to Charlotte to Mike, and she says that she doesn't blame Afton, only the parents, which is weird. She should blame both, realistically. But either way, it makes enough sense. So, after she gets the perimeter field disabled, she sends out the toy animatronics to try and murder the parents of the kids who were there at the restaurant at the time. And aside from, you know, an obvious flaw in this being it's 20 years later, these parents could have easily moved, honestly. It's more likely they would have. That's a nitpick. I'm not going to actually hold that against the movie, but it's there. The motives are a little muddled later, because towards the end of the movie, Michael Afton shows up, and in this, you know, continuity, he's just a villain in, you know, walking in his dad's footsteps. But he, like, describes that he orchestrated this whole thing to happen, sort of, like he's manipulating Charlotte in a way. And then he says that he's gonna have the entire town dead by sunrise. Like, that's a real line, something like that. But I'm confused. So is Charlotte just killing all adults? But here's the thing: she passed a lot of them and didn't kill them. I don't get it. Does Michael understand this? Did he just assume she was just gonna kill everyone? It's very, very weird. Also, they end up defeating Charlotte by using the music box gifted to Mike from Henry earlier in the film. Here's the thing. Mike just stops. Like he was told that the music box continuing to play is what keeps her asleep by Vanessa earlier in the movie. But he just stops. As soon as she leaves, oh yeah, it's safe, just turns it off. Which then, of course, leads to Vanessa getting possessed by Charlotte at the last minute. I don't know what they're going with, honestly. I'm okay, alright, cool. But slightly shaky motivation aside, the bigger issue for me personally is the possession, because I don't think it makes any sense. Now, here's the thing I hear some of you mentioning. Well, Justin, we see when the marionette possesses Abby that the puppet had to physically, like, jump at her. And I believe you can see the puppet scrambling away after Mike uses the music box on Abby. So maybe it's not possession, and instead it's more similar to what happened to Michael from Sister Location when he got scooped. And Ennard was living inside of his body, like, you know, moving it around. That's kind of similar. So, if that's what happened in the movie when Charlotte was possessing these people, I don't know how to tell you this. They should be dead. Michael died after an animatronic crawled inside of him. To be fair, he came back as like a zombie possessing his own body. So if that was the case here, if the marionette was crawling inside of these victims to control them, they're dead. They are dead. I don't know how to say it. Like, there's no way. Like, Abby's perfectly fine, and we never learn what happened to the first girl who got possessed. Maybe she died. It's bad. That's how I think. I think it was a massive oversight in the writing. I'm not a fan. But now let's get to my absolute least favorite part of the plot in this movie: the perimeter barrier. Now, let's start off with the concept in and of itself. I actually like it. It makes enough sense. William Afton wouldn't want these animatronics running away after they get possessed, you know? It makes sense. So here's the thing. When Charlotte gets the perimeter barrier turned off, she's able to wirelessly control the other animatronics, which was established earlier. That's not a problem. So she uses them to go enact her vengeance and kill the parents, right? That's fine. And I might be an outlier on this one, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm willing to accept that. But I think the animatronics lose a lot of the scare factor as soon as they step out of the restaurant. The restaurant's atmosphere is a big part of what makes the series scary. They go hand in hand together. One without the other is not nearly as effective as them together. Now, to be fair, it's also the toy animatronics, which already were not the scariest, you know, let's be real here. Like, there's a scene where Toy Freddy is just marching down the streets during Faz Fest. Toy Bonnie grabs a knife to try and stab a lady. Bonnie, you're made of steel and metal. Just fucking punch her! And Toy Chica goes to the science fair with Abby initially, which is also equally as not scary at all, because, you know, it's a science fair. That is where that really nice kill happens. That was cool, but kind of ruined for me personally, because the animatronics talk. Now, to the movie's credit, I was worried they were going to overuse this fact, but the only one that really talks is Toy Chica, and it's only the toys that speak, which makes enough sense, because I'm imagining the newer models would have voice boxes, you know? Like, I get it. This isn't a writing mistake, this is just a personal choice. I think the animatronics lose a lot of scare factor once you introduce things like this. Anyway, back on track. So, after Charlotte sends the toy animatronics out to kill the parents who, you know, neglected her originally, Mike stays behind at the office while Vanessa goes out and tries to find Abby by tracking down the animatronics, coordinating with Mike. Meanwhile, Mike has to actually compete with the withered animatronics, very similar to how we would in the game. That was very good fan service. Also, Mike fucking rips Balloon Boy's head off. What? And there's a really funny part, because withered Bonnie shows up in a vent, and then Mike just fucking puts the vent back on, and fucking withered Bonnie doesn't do anything. But as the scene goes on, Mike eventually gets cornered by Foxy, and things are not looking good. So what does he do? Does he maybe shine the flashlight into Foxy's eyes to get him to screw off like in the games? No. Instead, he goes into the system settings for the animatronics for about 3 minutes, and just fucking turns them off. Let's back up a little bit. Earlier in the movie, it's explained that the marionette is the only one controlling the animatronics in this new restaurant. This is done through a wireless signal transmitting from the puppet to the others in the show. And this is so the puppet can, you know, coordinate them around, you know, like animatronics. You know, she's the puppet master. And then, this is also brought up again before Mike and Vanessa split up to search for Abby. Vanessa knows that's how the puppet's controlling the others, okay? And reminder, Vanessa is shown in this movie to have at least a relatively deep understanding of the systems and everything because she's Afton's daughter in this continuity, right? Okay. How did she not know how to turn them off? It wasn't even a hard process. Mike opens it up mere seconds away from being murdered and does it. And it's not like she tried it earlier in the movie and it didn't work, you know, that would have made some sense. No, she just doesn't even try. She doesn't know, it just doesn't seem to know it exists. And then when Mike does it, spoiler alert, the puppet is just able to turn it back on anyway, because the toy animatronics everyone start moving again. And guess what? Vanessa's surprised when it happens. So So she had no idea any of this could happen. The fact that she knew enough to know about the wireless connection, her father was the one who helped build these animatronics. Yet Mike, who just got there, has seen this place for maybe a couple hours at this point. He's able to just find it before her? It's stupid. Oh, and like I said earlier, Charlotte just turns them back on, so it didn't even matter. Oh, and how could I forget the ending?
We are FNAF!
That fucking happens. I'm not even kidding, okay? It doesn't happen to, like, the same degree. They're fighting Charlotte, but it happens. Basically, I know this has been pretty much a very rambly video. I'm skipping over a lot of details. I'm just getting to the main points here. At the end of the movie, our main characters are all cornered by Charlotte and the other toy animatronics inside Mike's house. And before this, Mike had gone to the original pizzeria and pleaded with the original 5 spirits to help save Abby with him, right? Okay, so, while they're cornered in his house, the OG animatronics from the first movie just show up and beat the shit out of the toy animatronics. And while it's happening, they're playing like these triumphant Marvel Cinematic Universe stings of like, oh my god. Oh, you can ask my buddy Josh, who I watched the movie with. I was like shrinking into my seat as this happened. Oh, by the way, okay, after the original animatronics destroy the toys and save the main characters, they're disabled by the perimeter feature that was established in this movie. Which, cool, I get it. Except for the fact that in the first movie, Golden Freddy, as an animatronic, is able to leave the restaurant and get Abby to take her to the restaurant. And nothing happened to him, but I used to also operate under the idea that it's like a projection. It's not really Golden Freddy. Except for the fact that he also gets in the cab with Corey, and there's physical weight. So where's the perimeter feature there? Anyway, those were the main things that really bothered me about the movie. There are a couple other small things I could have mentioned. Some of the directing choices feel a little cheap. For example, the Mangle CGI, a little iffy. It's not the worst, but when compared to the amazing practical effects of the rest of the animatronics, it stands out. There's also some really cheap, like, green screen shots during Vanessa's dream sequence. There's a scene where Afton, he falls off the stair, like, he falls over the stair railing, and I shit you not, they do one of those, like, slow-mo, like, before he hits the ground. It's so silly. I can tell it's done intentionally because it's funny, but, like, I don't know, man. I feel like the scene would have been more impactful if he just hit the floor. So yeah, overall, I don't think this is a very good movie. Is it worse than Morbius? Absolutely not. I at least enjoyed my time with this movie. Just the finer plot details are a little iffy. And I already know I'm gonna get comments about this, so let me just air this out right now. It's not that it's different from the games that bothers me. I really liked the first movie, and that is very different, okay? The spring lock scene does not happen in FNAF 1, okay? It's not that it's different from the games that bothers me. The writing is just inconsistent. And obviously, FNAF is so complicated, I'm sure my understanding of it isn't even fully complete. So if I made any genuine mistakes during this, like things can be explained away with the movie lore, please, let me know, I'm not trying to be malicious, I'm just openly sharing my opinions about this movie, and how I don't think I liked it very much, I don't want to say hate, but yeah, it made me think. It made me think. So, what did you guys think about the second FNAF movie? Did you like it? Love it? Hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My name's Justin DG. And yes, I am still working on that FNAF retrospective. I'm so sorry.